With this week's episode of Boku no Hero Academia, we have a lot of fights taking place. A lot of characters get to step into the spotlight and showcase their quirk abilities and how they could stand out amongst the rest for the rest of this series. And so before I talk about, let's say, like Tetsu and, Kirishima's fight and other characters, I want to talk about Tokoyami and also Momo's fight, because this is probably one of the most important fights of this episode, and it definitely is going to be a major part in the future of this series, or especially for these characters. So just to completely point it out, when it comes to Momo's character and Tokoyami's character, this fight was very important. And so out of all of the other fights and all that, I felt like this was one that really needed to be focused on. So I think everybody can understand by now, Momo is very powerful. Momo has a quirk ability that is very unique. Momo is able to make different type of things, whatever she can imagine, whatever, she can make these different things, like a shield, a sword, whatever. She can make things on the fly, and that's a very powerful quirk ability, because you can do a lot of things with that. I mean, some unimaginable things, like things you could never think of this character could possibly do. And so Momo is very skilled. If Momo has the mind to think about what she wants to do or whatever, and make something, she can do it. And that is what makes her very impressive, and why she's just really insane. Out of all the quirk abilities we have seen thus far in Boku no Hero Academia, she is probably the one that has the most powerful quirk. I mean, yes, we have physical strength and stuff like that, for instance, one for all, but I'm talking about quirk ability that can do a bunch of different things, make things, and that's what Momo is. And so she's not necessarily considered weak. She is not someone you could say that is just weak and useless in this series. And so when everybody saw this fight beginning, for instance Tokoyami and Momo, everybody that's anime only probably were expecting a crazy fight. Seeing Momo go in, seeing Tokoyami go in, it was just going to be an insane fight. And many were probably thinking that Momo was going to win, because Momo has the abilities to make things, make something that could, form light or something to go up against, Tokoyami, but that wasn't the case. Tokoyami overpowered her and won. And this is kind of what this fight was trying to showcase. It was showcasing a couple of things, but the main points in this fight was showcasing that don't underestimate Tokoyami. Number one, you don't underestimate this man, even if he's in the middle of the day, okay? And he doesn't have the most powerful quirk ability. For instance, in the day his quirk is weaker. You shouldn't underestimate him, because he does have a very good mind. He's gifted. He knows what he needs to do in a fight. He's not just using a powerful quirk ability that's like a stand, going in and wrecking people. He is using his mind to do certain things, to use his dark shadow. And so he's not just attacking blindly, because it's even stated in this episode that he was attacking Momo's shield that she was using to push her out of bounds. And that's the only thing he was using. He was just attacking her shield to continuously push her out of the ring. And so he was using his mind and his expertise to be able to do something like this. But also, when you look at it like this, we also need to take from this fight that just because you have a powerful quirk, an ability that is overpowered, and something that can easily destroy countless others, doesn't necessarily mean you are going to win. That is what this fight was really trying to represent. Just because you have a quirk ability, maybe, let's take an example, Todoroki, okay? He has, fire and ice, doesn't necessarily mean he's always going to win. That's what this was trying to show. Just because you have the best quirk ability known to man does not mean you're always going to win, because it comes down to not just the quirk, but the person using it. For instance, their mind. How can they use it? Look at Izuku, for instance. That's what this episode opened up with. It showcased Izuku kind of analyzing individual people, heroes, and seeing what they're capable of and how he can counter them. That's what he was doing at the beginning of the episode. He was talking about individual quirks and all that, like grabbing quirks or vines or whatever. He was just talking about this and saying, like, holy crap, this quirk ability would be very hard to attack in so-and-so way. You would need to do this. Izuku's always done this. This is a part of his character. We have seen since the very beginning of Boku no Hero Academia that he is someone that is very intelligent, and he thinks about what he needs to do. He's not just all bronze that goes in and just beats the shit out of things with, one for all. He also has a very gifted mind to be able to overcome many situations. So he's different from the standard protagonist from a shonen series, because most shonen main characters are not all there in the head. They're usually kind of brain dead. Let's just be real here. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And so Izuku being different, it's very refreshing, and that's what's constantly popped up time and time again for this series. Him being different and standing out amongst the crowd of all the other shonen series that are currently coming out right now. So what this is trying to show us is that just because you have a powerful quirk doesn't mean you're always guaranteed to win. You need to have a mind. You need to know how to overcome your weaknesses to your quirk ability and use the strengths to the absolute maximum. That's basically what this fight was trying to prove. Now, besides that, let's talk about Momo's character in general. So Momo showed a side to her that was very... She didn't have faith in herself. It showed that she didn't think she actually could win once it was all done. She felt disappointed, so to say. Like, she was really upset with how she failed to take down Tokoyami, and how she realized she was played the entire time, and how he used her shield against her. She realized this, and so she felt inferior. And I noticed that many might take this as like, holy crap, this is like a big flaw in her character. This is going to serve for character development. It's setting up for that, clearly, because of her thinking about how she just messed up, and she failed in this fight, and how she wasn't able to do what she wanted to do, which shows that there's more room for improvement with her, and that there is going to be development taking place. So that's kind of what I want everybody to focus on when it comes to that part of this episode. So, anyways, let's talk about the Tetsu and the Kirishima fight. So, that fight, okay, that was a good fight, because you have two people that have the same quirk ability. I mean, they're slightly different. One has steel, one has hardening, but it's basically Metapod versus Kakuna. That's basically what it is. And these two characters going at each other and all that, it's very funny because they have such similar quirk abilities. You're like, who's gonna win? I mean, it must come down to, you know, the mind. That's what it needs to come down to. But obviously, with the way they were fighting, it didn't really come to that, which goes against everything else from this episode. They mainly were just using bronze. They were just beating the hell out of each other until one gave up. And basically, because of them just fighting so long, they both went unconscious, and it resulted in a draw. So, yeah, in some cases, it might just come down to being, you know, brute force, but overall, it's not always going to be that. It was showcasing the fact that if one of them would have had the upper hand with their mind, was using tactics and stuff, they probably would have won, but they didn't. They just kept doing the exact same thing and just beating the hell out of each other until one finally passed out, which they both did in turn. And now, the other fights we had in, you know, this episode, like, for instance, we had Mina. Oh, man, Mina beat the hell out of my, you know, my laser naval boy. Like, oh my god, like, Mina is so cute. She's a very underrated character, and I feel like more should really like her, and she has such an interesting design, completely different from a normal character in a series, which is one of the big attributes about Boku no Hero Academia I love, is how unique character designs are. I've mentioned this a lot in my manga reviews, and Mina as a character, with her design and all that, and her ability, it has a really nice, unique feeling to it, and I like when she's on screen. It kind of sucks that she's not focused on a lot more than she is, but I feel like one day she will be focused on. But it was a really nice way to show her character how she's bubbly, confident in herself, and also how she's willing to get things done when she needs to get things done. So, good stuff there. I like Mina's character and how it was showcased. Now, besides that, we have other stuff going on in this episode, like towards the end, with Ochako setting up to fight Bakugo. Now, this is something that many are going to be hyped up for, and many might automatically assume that's going to just be a steamroll. Bakugo is going to whoop Ochako like it is nothing. Like, I know many are probably already saying that, but I want to point something out. Think about what I was just saying in this review. I was saying, just because your quirk ability is stronger, 1,000 times stronger than someone else's, doesn't automatically mean you're gonna win, or that person's gonna win. It comes down to the mind. It comes down to how you use your mind. Now, once again, I do also want to point out, and I've said this many times as well, Bakugo isn't stupid either. Many are quick to assume Bakugo is stupid because of how he lets his temper get to him, but he's always in control. He knows what he's doing. He's aware. He's very aware of what he does. So, he's not dumb either. He knows how to use tactics and stuff. So, he's not someone that you could just think is not thinking. He's not all bronze either. So, we also have to remember that. So, once again, when it comes to Ochako versus Bakugo, it's up in the air who's going to win, because they both have a very gifted mind. Bakugo obviously has a very strong quirk ability. It's very powerful, it's very aggressive, and honestly, it's probably very hard to fight against someone like Bakugo, especially when he has a mind on his shoulders. So Ochako, it seems like all the cards are stacked against her, but like I said, it doesn't automatically mean she is going to lose. So there, just pointing that out. So yeah, I feel like it was a great episode taking place with some certain character development going on here and there for individual characters, like for instance Momo and all that. Getting to see Ochako having some development as well taking place. It was just a very good episode of Boku no Hero Academia. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.